The envelope sat on my kitchen counter for 3 days before I opened it. Premium cardstock. My daughter's elegant handwriting. The kind of invitation that probably cost more than I spent on groceries in a month. Dad, we're throwing you a 65th birthday celebration. Saturday, 6 p.m. Brandon's parents will be there too. It'll be nice. Nice. That word bothered me more than it should have. 23 years as a single father, and the best she could offer was nice. I held the card up to the afternoon light streaming through my apartment window. The condo was small, 800 square feet in a decent part of Phoenix, but nothing fancy. My neighbors were retirees like me, people who'd worked their whole lives and had just enough to get by. At least, that's what everyone thought. The truth was different, very different. My phone buzzed. Michelle, did you get the invitation? Just opened it. Great. So you'll come? Her voice had that bright, forced quality I'd grown to recognize over the past few years. Of course. It's my birthday. Perfect. Oh, and Dad? Maybe. Maybe wear that navy blazer? The one I got you for Christmas? Brandon's parents are kind of, I knew. They were wealthy. Old money from Scottsdale. The kind of people who judged you by your watch and your zip code. Sure, honey. After we hung up, I sat down heavily on my worn couch. The same couch I'd bought used 15 years ago. The same couch where Michelle had done her homework, where we'd watched movies on Friday nights after her mother left, where I'd held her when she cried about her first heartbreak. She didn't know that I owned this building, or the 3 others like it scattered across Phoenix and Tempe. She didn't know about the commercial property near ASU that generated $15,000 a month in rent. She didn't know that her old man, who clipped coupons and drove a 12-year-old Honda Civic, had a portfolio worth $4.2 million. I'd kept it quiet deliberately. After my wife left when Michelle was 8, I'd thrown myself into work, long hours as a civil engineer. But I'd invested carefully, real estate during the 2008 crash. Bought when everyone else was panicking. By the time I retired at 60, I never had to worry about money again. But I lived like I did. Same small apartment. Same old car. Same routine of cooking at home and watching evening news and taking walks through the neighborhood. I wanted Michelle to build her own life. Make her own way. Not coast on expectations of inheritance. The week before my birthday, I decided to run an experiment. I called her on Tuesday evening. She answered on the 4th ring, slightly breathless. Dad? Is everything okay? I need to talk to you about something. Can you meet for coffee tomorrow? I have Pilates at 10, and then lunch with Brandon's mom. And it's important, Michelle. A pause. Okay. Starbucks on Camelback, 9 a.m.? The next morning, I got there early. Ordered my usual black coffee, $2.45. I made a show of counting out exact change, made sure she'd see me do it. She walked in 15 minutes late, designer purse swinging from her shoulder. The bag probably cost more than my monthly HOA fees. Sorry. Traffic was insane. She kissed my cheek and went to order. Came back with some complicated drink that cost $7. So, what's going on? She checked her phone as she asked. I took a breath. I made some bad investments, lost a significant amount of money. Her eyes snapped up from her screen. What? How much? Most of my savings. I thought I was diversifying, but I let my voice trail off, made myself look embarrassed. I might need to sell the condo. Sell the condo? Dad, where would you live? I'd figure something out, maybe rent a smaller place. I wanted you to know, in case I needed help with anything. She was quiet for a long moment. Her jaw tightened slightly. Well, that's really unfortunate timing. Timing? Brandon and I just put an offer on a house in Paradise Valley. We're stretching pretty thin. I mean, his bonus should cover it, but... She took a long sip of her drink. How much do you actually have left? My pension. Social Security when it kicks in. Maybe $20,000 in savings now. I watched her face carefully. Saw something flicker across it. Not concern. Calculation. Have you talked to a financial advisor? Maybe it's not as bad as you think. I'm pretty sure it is. Well, She checked her phone again. You'll figure it out. You always do. Oh God, I'm going to be late for Pilates. We'll talk more at your party, okay? She was gone in a flurry of perfume and clicking heels, leaving half her $7 coffee on the table. I sat there for another hour, watching people come and go, young professionals ordering their morning fuel, students huddled over laptops, an elderly couple sharing a muffin. My daughter hadn't asked a single question about how I was doing, hadn't offered help, hadn't even suggested we sit down and look at my finances together. She just calculated whether my problems would affect her. The next few days confirmed what I'd suspected. She didn't call, didn't text to check in. The only message I got was a reminder about my birthday dinner. Don't forget, 6 p.m. Saturday. And Dad, seriously, wear something nice. First impressions matter. Saturday arrived cold for Phoenix in March. I put on the navy blazer she'd given me. It still had the tags on it when she'd handed it to me last Christmas. 9 months ago, I'd worn it exactly once, to her engagement party. I drove my Honda across town to their rental house in Arcadia. Nice neighborhood. Not Paradise Valley nice, but getting there. The kind of place where people renovated mid-century ranches into showplaces. Their house was lit up like a magazine shoot. Through the windows, I could see people moving around, heard laughter. I sat in my car for a moment, engine ticking as it cooled. In my pocket was a gift card to Target, $25. The kind of gift you give when you're being thoughtful but careful. I'd brought it as a test too. Would she even notice? Would she care? The front door opened before I could knock. Brandon stood there, his perfect teeth gleaming in a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Robert, come in, come in. He'd never called me Dad, never even suggested it. Always Robert, like I was a business associate. The house smelled like catered food. Expensive catering. I could see servers moving through the rooms with trays of appetizers. Everyone's in the back. Brandon guided me through with a hand on my shoulder that felt more like steering than welcome. The backyard was transformed. String lights, rented tables, a full bar set up. There had to be 40 people here. I didn't recognize most of them. Michelle appeared in a dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. She hugged me, and I smelled wine on her breath already. Dad, happy birthday. Come meet Brandon's parents. Roger and Patricia Whitmore stood by the bar, drinks in hand. Roger wore a polo that screamed country club. Patricia had that tight, preserved look of someone who'd had excellent plastic surgery. So you're the father. Roger extended his hand. His grip was firm, assessing. Michelle's told us so much about you. I doubted that. All good things, I hope. Patricia smiled with her mouth only. She mentioned you were an engineer? Civil? Retired now. Oh, how nice. Pensions aren't what they used to be, are they? Her eyes flicked to my blazer. I could practically hear her calculating its value. Still, I'm sure you're comfortable enough. The way she said comfortable enough made it clear she meant just scraping by. Brandon appeared with a beer. Robert, this is for you. It's a local craft brew. Figured you'd appreciate something with character. It cost about $2 more than what I usually drank. He was being generous, I suppose. The evening progressed like a performance. Michelle and Brandon played the perfect hosts. I was trotted out occasionally to meet people, introduced as Brandon's father-in-law more often than Michelle's father. I ended up sitting at a table in the corner with some of Brandon's law firm colleagues who clearly didn't want to be there. They talked over me about cases and clients and billing hours. At one point, Michelle brought over a plate of food. Make sure you eat, Dad. I know you're probably not used to food this nice. The comment stung because she didn't even realize it was insulting. Around 8, after the cake had been served, an elaborate thing from some trendy bakery, I heard voices from the kitchen. The door was ajar. I recognized Michelle's laugh. Can't believe he actually wore that blazer. It's from Men's Warehouse, Brandon. Your dad is probably dying inside. At least he showed up in something with buttons. That was Brandon. Though, did you see his car? I had the valet park it in back. Didn't want Roger's clients seeing it in front. Don't be mean, but Michelle was still laughing. He's just simple. He always has been. It's actually kind of sweet, in a way. Like, he has no idea how the rest of us live. Has he said anything more about his money problems? The laughter stopped. Yeah. He lost most of his savings, some bad investments. Shit. How much does he have left? Like 20 grand, maybe? Plus his pension. Is he going to ask us for help? Brandon's voice had gone flat. I don't know. Maybe? But Brandon, we can't. Not with the Paradise Valley house. We're already stretching. We're not giving him money, Michelle. We've talked about this. You've supported him emotionally your whole life. That's enough. He made his choices. I know. It's just, he's my dad. And he's a grown man who should have managed his money better. Look, when he's really desperate, he'll figure something out. Downsize. Move to a cheaper area. Old people do it all the time. You're right. God, can you imagine if we had to support him? My friends would die. Rebecca's dad has like 5 properties. And here mine is, losing money on whatever. They moved away from the door, their voices fading. I sat very still. The party continued around me. Music played, people laughed. Someone made a toast to my health. I left without saying goodbye to anyone except Michelle. Dad, you're leaving already? Tired. It's been a long day. Well, happy birthday. She hugged me. Love you. Love you too, sweetheart. I meant it. That was the worst part. The drive home took 30 minutes. I didn't turn on the radio. Just drove in silence, processing what I'd heard. When I got back to my condo, I sat down at my desk and opened my laptop. I'd been thinking about my will lately anyway. 65 seemed like a good age to get things in order. By Monday morning, I had meetings scheduled with my attorney and my financial advisor. You're sure about this? My attorney, Richard, had been handling my affairs for 12 years. He knew exactly what I was worth. Completely sure. This is significant, Robert. Your daughter won't inherit anything. That's the point. He nodded slowly. Okay, let's draw up the papers. The new will was simple. Upon my death, my entire estate would be liquidated and donated to a scholarship fund for first-generation college students in engineering. I'd set aside $50,000 for funeral expenses and estate settlement. The rest, everything would go to kids who actually needed help building a future. Michelle got nothing. But I wasn't done. I called her Wednesday afternoon. Honey, can you meet me for lunch? I need to talk to you about something. Dad, I'm really busy this week. Can it wait? It's about my financial situation. I could use some advice. Silence. Then, okay, Friday? That place near your condo? 1 o'clock? She showed up 20 minutes late. I'd already ordered just water and the cheapest sandwich on the menu. Sorry. You would not believe the traffic. She slid into the booth, flagged down the waiter. I'll have the Cobb salad, dressing on the side, and an iced tea. $14. Not including tip. So what's going on? I've been looking at my options. I think I need to sell the condo. Oh, that's probably smart. The thing is, I'd need somewhere to stay while I look for a cheaper rental. Maybe a couple months? I was wondering. Dad. She cut me off. Brandon and I just don't have the space. I mean, we're in a 3-bedroom now, but one's his office, and one's the guest room for his parents when they visit. And I wouldn't need much. Just a corner somewhere. It's not that simple. Brandon works from home sometimes. He needs quiet, and his parents come visit every other month. It would be really awkward. I see. Plus, we're about to close on the new house. There's just a lot of stress right now. Financially, emotionally. Right, the Paradise Valley house. Her eyes lit up. Yes. 5 bedrooms, pool, mountain views. It's going to be incredible. We're stretching, but Brandon's bonus will cover the down payment. How much is the down payment? $75,000. But it's an investment. Real estate always goes up in Paradise Valley. I took a bite of my sandwich. Let the silence sit. Anyway, Dad, about your situation. Have you looked into senior housing? Some of those places are actually really nice and affordable. My friend's mom moved into one in Glendale. She loves it. Senior housing. Just as an option. I'm not saying you're old or anything, but they have activities. Other people your age. It might be good for you. You're alone so much. I don't mind being alone. I know, but still. Think about it. She checked her phone. Oh God, I have to run. Hair appointment at 2. She stood up, Left $20 on the table. Lunch is on me. Happy belated birthday again. And she was gone. I finished my sandwich slowly. The waiter came by to refill my water. Everything okay, sir? Fine. Thank you. That night, I made another call to Richard. I want to move forward with the estate plans. But I want to add something. What's that? I want to liquidate while I'm alive. Start the scholarship fund now. I want to see it work. That's unusual, but certainly possible. You understand this means I understand completely. I'll keep enough to live on. Maybe set up a trust for healthcare and end-of-life expenses. The rest goes now. When do you want to start? Immediately. Over the next 3 months, I sold everything. The building I lived in went to a young couple starting out as landlords. The other properties went to various buyers. The commercial property near ASU took the longest, but finally closed in June. By July, the Chen Scholarship Fund was established with $3.8 million. It would give full-ride engineering scholarships to first-generation students. 5 scholarships a year, in perpetuity. The first recipients were announced in September. I went to the ceremony at ASU, watched 5 kids, 3 from Phoenix, 1 from Tucson, 1 from Flagstaff receive their letters. Kids who'd worked their way through high school, kids whose parents cleaned houses and drove buses and worked night shifts, kids who reminded me of myself at 18. One of them, Maria, came up to me afterward. Are you Mr. Chen? I am. Thank you. I'm going to make you proud. I promise. I had to turn away so she wouldn't see me crying. Michelle found out in November. She called me screaming. What the hell did you do? I'm sorry? Don't play dumb. Brandon's dad is friends with the dean at ASU. He told him about your scholarship fund. $4 million? You told me you were broke. I told you I'd lost money. I had. You lied to me. I tested you, Michelle. And you failed? Tested me? What are you, insane? You're my father. Yes, I am. I'm the father who raised you alone after your mother left, who worked 60-hour weeks so you could have everything you needed, who paid for your college. You said that was financial aid. I said your education was covered. You never asked how. This is insane. You can't just give away $4 million. I can. I did. It's my money. What about me? I'm your daughter. Exactly. You're my daughter. And when I told you I'd lost everything, when I said I might need help, you couldn't spare even a moment of real concern. You calculated whether my problems would inconvenience you. That's not fair. Brandon and I have expenses. A $75,000 down payment on a house you don't need, while your father was supposedly desperate. You weren't actually desperate. You were lying. I wanted to see who you'd become, Michelle. And I saw. She was crying now. Mom was right about you. You're cold. You're manipulative. You play these mind games. Your mother left because she wanted an easier life. She found it. Good for her. I stayed. I raised you. I loved you. And I really hoped that you'd learned something about loyalty, about family, about being there for people when they need you. I am there for you. When? When's the last time you called just to talk? When's the last time you invited me over for dinner, not a performance for Brandon's parents, but actual dinner? When's the last time you asked me how I was doing and waited for a real answer? Silence. I'm keeping enough to live comfortably, I continued. I have my pension, Social Security, a small trust for medical expenses. I don't need your money, and you don't need mine. You're a grown woman with a lawyer husband. You'll be fine. What about my inheritance? There isn't one. You're cutting me out of your will? Everything goes to the scholarship fund. It's already done. You can't do this. I already have. The papers are signed. It's irrevocable. I'll fight this. Brandon's a lawyer. Brandon's a corporate lawyer. This is estate law. And Richard specialized in making things ironclad. But please, waste your money trying. She hung up. I sat in my condo, now rented to me by the young couple I'd sold it to, and felt something like peace. My phone buzzed an hour later. Brandon, Robert, we need to talk. No, we don't. You've made a very serious mistake. You're clearly not thinking straight. Maybe early dementia. I'm 65 and sharp as ever. Nice try, though. You're destroying your daughter's future. I'm securing the future of 5 kids every year who actually need help. Michelle has a college degree I paid for, a husband with a good job. She'll be fine. Do you have any idea what you've done to our financial planning? We were counting on that inheritance. I know. I heard you. What? At my birthday party. In the kitchen. I heard you and Michelle discussing how inconvenient my poverty would be. How you couldn't possibly help. How I should have managed better. Silence. You parked my car in back so your father-in-law's clients wouldn't see it. You're embarrassed by me. Both of you are. So I decided to remove myself from your financial planning permanently. This is revenge. This is consequences. Michelle is devastated. Michelle is angry she won't inherit money she didn't earn from a father she barely knows anymore. You're a bitter old man. Maybe. But I'm a bitter old man who's helping kids who remind me why I worked so hard in the first place. Kids who'll actually appreciate it. He hung up too. Over the following weeks, Michelle tried several more times. Angry calls, crying calls, reasonable calls, where she tried to negotiate. She even showed up at my condo once, but I didn't answer. Finally, she sent an email. Dad, I'm sorry. I know I haven't been the daughter you deserved. I got caught up in Brandon's world, in trying to impress people who don't matter. I was selfish. I see that now. Can we talk, please? I read it 3 times. Then I called Richard. Can the will be changed? Of course. It's your will. No. Keep it as is. I just needed to know. Because here's the thing about tests. They show you the truth. And the truth was, Michelle was sorry she'd been caught. Sorry she'd lost an inheritance. Sorry she'd miscalculated. But she wasn't sorry for who she'd become. The apology email had come 2 days after she'd had lunch with her friend Rebecca, whose father had given her a down payment on a condo. I knew because Rebecca posted about it on social media, tagged Michelle, and Michelle had commented, "So lucky. Wish my dad was that generous." She was still playing victim, still making me the villain, still expecting the world and her father to fund her lifestyle. In December, I got a call from Maria, the scholarship recipient. "Mr. Chen, I wanted to let you know I got a 4 my first semester, and I got an internship at an engineering firm for the summer. Paid. That's wonderful, Maria. I just wanted to say thank you again. My mom cries every time she talks about the scholarship. She says it's a miracle." After we hung up, I pulled out an old photo album, found a picture of Michelle at 8 years old, gap-toothed and grinning, holding up a trophy from her science fair. I'd been so proud that day. I closed the album. Some people say what I did was cruel, cold, that a parent should forgive anything. But forgiveness requires acknowledgement of wrongdoing. It requires change. It requires effort. Michelle wanted forgiveness without any of that. She wanted me to pretend her years of neglect didn't matter, because she was blood, because she was my daughter. But being a daughter is more than DNA. It's showing up. It's caring. It's being there when life gets hard, not just when it's convenient. I'd shown her that for 23 years. She couldn't manage it for 3 months. So now 5 kids a year will get what she took for granted. Someone who believes in them. Someone who invests in their future. Someone who says, "You matter. Your dreams matter. Here's a chance." That's not revenge. That's justice. I heard through mutual friends that Michelle and Brandon's house deal fell through. Without the inheritance they'd been counting on, the bank wouldn't approve their loan. They're still in the rental. Brandon's bonus went to paying off credit cards instead. They're fine. Comfortable. Living a life most people would envy. They just can't have everything they wanted exactly when they wanted it. Welcome to the real world, sweetheart. The one your old man lived in while he raised you alone. I sleep fine at night. And every September, I go to ASU and watch new scholarship recipients get their letters. Watch their faces light up. Watch their parents cry with relief and pride. That's my legacy now. Not a daughter who saw me as an ATM, but kids who saw a scholarship as a miracle. Kids who'll remember what it felt like to be helped when they needed it most. Kids who might someday help someone else. That's enough. That's more than enough.